Welcome to DreadLore, as the Red Writ.
The Red Writ.
It is our weekly Monday podcast that we do here on Twitch. So, everybody, this is DreadLore's The Red Writ. Special thanks to the cast and arbiter, Bill Bunkum, Andrea Elliott-Johnson, Daniel Hulker, Drizzle, and Ken Howl. Score is by all lowercase letters and Mr. Interrupt. Special thanks to our Patreon members. Please visit our patreon.com/dreadlore with members M. Roberts, Daniel Hulker, and Nostalgic. Thank you, Couchfire Media, for art and media production, as well as Trois Reblay Productions, who comes up with the story, has written the book DreadLore, which is the tabletop role-playing game that we play every single week. Welcome to the Red Writ. And please stay tuned. We got a couple of announcements before we get started. Sure. Anybody have anything that they want to talk about before we go?
Anything pressing?
Anything? Any promotion?
Any promotions?
Any sponsors?
Hey, Holger, who's the sponsor?
You want me to give out the sponsor tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they paid for it.
Yeah, okay. Tonight's sponsor. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Tonight's sponsor is a very special episode. Very special episodes were often part of a sitcom season in the 80s and the 90s, where characters deal with or are confronted by a hot-button issue of the day, and then slowly realize how wrong it is to engage in said issue or activity over the course of one episode. At the end of the episode, an 800 number is given for those who need help pertaining to the issue covered. We will use this episode tonight to highlight the dangers of role-playing games to the people who play them. I was introduced to role-playing games long ago on the schoolyard by an older kid who wore loose-fitting clothes and handed me a character sheet. He said the first one was free. I should have told my parents and the principal about that older kid, but I did not. He went on to recruit an entire party. I should have just stayed with a kid who was selling extra candy from Halloween. There's nothing funny about this. We don't have the 800 number. Someone is in need. And there's not an 800 number for them to call. Will.
So I caught most of that, and I think I know what you said. Thank you. How should we call this sponsor? What was it called again?
A very special episode.
Oh, a very special episode. What is going on with your background?
Everything.
Where are you? Are you in a mall?
It looks like
probably.
Is that a mall? Is that a Fortnite mall?
It probably.
Actually, it kind of works. Hey, how about everybody introduce yourselves?
We haven't introduced ourselves yet, but I'm Ken Howl, and I'm playing a character named Nord Zetterberg. He is from Sweden, not Switzerland. I don't know why the two countries get confused, because they are not necessarily very. It's like the difference between Ohio and Tennessee, really.
Right, but there is kind of no difference, right?
There is a difference. One's a landlocked country. The other one has quite a bit of fjords and
You're a fjord.
Oceanfront properties. So I mean, you pick. One's a little bit more north, but they're both cold in the wintertime. Probably cold in the summertime, or at least
populated by the Swiss.
Yeah, one of them houses the Ark. Like, they built an Ark, and their ark actually floats. But I live in Kentucky, who also, we built an ark here, but it's made out of concrete and does not float. So yeah, that's Nord in a nutshell. He's also a journalist and a drug addict.
Holker.
My name is Daniel, and I play a character known as Tony Czerniak. He is a Border Patrol officer, although it's unsure for how much longer at this rate.
What are you doing with your microphone?
Yeah.
And where did you get that microphone?
It's a cool mic.
I got this. I got this from a kid on the schoolyard. Okay.
Nice.
It was the same kid who sold him the.
Yeah, sit it down and give it some breathing room. I think that's
yes.
That's a really cool looking mic, though.
Yeah. My character is Tony Czerniak. He is a former priest, and he is now a border guard. And he's also chasing demons, despite leaving the priesthood.
That's right. Andrea?
Yo, I am Andrea Elliott-Johnson, and I play Leah Mizrahi, who is a former IDF soldier and Mossad agent. She left Israel to hopefully find a better life and live in a more peaceful atmosphere, and found neither. Well, maybe she found a better life. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see how things end up. I mean, supposedly her husband's probably dead of a sort, and her daughter is forever traumatized. So yeah, I'm sure things will work out just fine.
And Drizzle?
I'm Drizzle. I play Simon Vincent, the hard-boiled detective who is now a PI. Just killed a vampire or something in the sewers.
Maybe.
So it's going to be hard for him to be skeptic very much longer.
Don't blame me. I'm not the one who cut a dude's head off with a scythe. Speaking of, last we left, a group of intrepid is the wrong word. Misguided and tragic heroes yet to be seen. You guys were under the earth. You were in a sewer of sorts, a large sewer. You just come out of the Blue Note Jazz Club, where you assume that the singer, the lounge singer Levi, has gone on, and Nord assumes that Levi's song is a kind of siren song. There's no proof whatsoever of any of this, but that doesn't mean it's not true. Tony and Mariah were getting attacked by the wait staff and some of the people that were staying that had attended the show. Leah luckily came in and aided them fight off these people, and Leah executed them in typical Leah fashion. It's 11:50 p.m. at this point in the story. It's 10 minutes to midnight. Within the past 18 hours, Leah has murdered more than a handful of people, executing them. She's literally running out of bullets. She did so in front of her daughter. Her daughter had a fit. And it was an interesting moment where Leah realized this and actually made a connection with her daughter, Mariah. Soothed her and essentially told her everything was going to be okay. Tony, Leah, and Mariah then attempted to join Nord and Simon, who were investigating the bowels of this sewer, trying to find out where the sewer led from the Blue Note. Simon knew that, or guessed correctly, the reason that places in Detroit are connected via sewer to the rivers because of their pre-prohibition or their prohibition tunnels. Simon and Nord discover several traps, prohibition-style traps. Nord discovers a swinger something or another party going on. Good picture. Yeah, masquerade party. Doesn't tell anyone about it. It's going on in the sewer. They're wearing tribal gear out of like a 1940s whitewashed movie is what it looks like. This is what the real Hawaiians look like or something. And he just shut them in the room, and Simon and Nord jammed the door so they couldn't get out. They kept on going. Eventually, everyone meets up at these crossroads. There's this weird fog that's rolled in. This Lost Boys style group of miscreants living in the sewers come out of the shadows, and they start acting very weird and aggressive. Nord shoots one with a shotgun. In retrospect, it seemed like a good idea at the time. These guys were making not so veiled threats at you all not leaving the sewers alive. That said, they hadn't actually done anything when Nord rounded on the fellow in front of Simon and shot him point blank with a shotgun. To no one's surprise but Simon, he didn't seem to flinch. So Simon ran up with a scythe that he just picked up, like a like the boss level in Doom 2, and chopped the dude's head off. This is that moment. Blood is just splattered everywhere. Black blood. Maybe it's just the darkness, Simon. It is very dark in the sewer. For all of you, there are these Edison-style bulbs strung down the ceiling. You're at the crossroads. It's pretty obvious where the Prohibition tunnels go, though. Follows the Edison bulbs. Off down either tunnel, it does look like perhaps people have lived there. There might be something to investigate or look at. Then the decapitated body that falls in front of you turns into ash and maggots before your eyes. There has been drugs. You know you've been drugged. You know you're tired. Is this the truth? You stand there, Simon, holding a scythe. This archaic weapon. It has this weird sheen to it. It's cold iron, you were told, sheen to it. Think of it like Damascus steel. And you can see the ripples in the blade. Yeah, you got it over there. And you see the blood dripping off. We'll say that the blood is actually dripping up. And like droplets of it are like going to the ceiling. There are guttural snorting and growling sounds all around all of you from these 4 remaining people dressed in all black. It looks like a bad Hot Topic commercial just in the sewer. Their eyes are glowing red as they're like predators starting to encircle you. When the one way out front who seems like their leader, this Eastern European looking fellow, he's got a widow's peak, his hair's slicked back in stereotypical fashion. Yeah, this is the 80s. This is a new goth thing. They've all got like fishnet on. Yells out in this hollow voice, "Stop." And all of these people stop, frozen in their tracks. Their eyes sort of die down. And that's the moment that you guys are in. So the action is on you.
Leah actually wasn't with us. Or are you?
That's right. Thank you for telling me that. You get a pip.
Okay.
We'll get to Leah. Leah actually stayed up top because Andrea had to go. Leah disappeared before Tony and Mariah left. Leah disappeared out the office door into the Blue Note. So we'll get to her in a minute.
Okay.
The rest of you, though, that's what's going on.
Okay. Let us pass, or we'll have to finish you all.
There's some snickering echoing off the walls from too many voices, too many throats. The leader out in front, probably 50, 60 feet, it looks like, cloaked in this fog that is it's chest high, dark. You can just see his eyes, pink and red, almost like they're glowing. You can see his features, the outlines of his face. He has a scowl on his face of disgust. He's not laughing, but the rest of these guys are at you. Action still on all of you. You can continue.
We are trying to stop the ritual that's going on. Are you a part of it?
What do you bid?
I will bid detective. Because I'm trying to gather information.
This fellow, bidding detective, he takes a couple steps forward, and you can see his features in the Edison light. Strange features, this man. It's hard to pinpoint what race he is. At first, you were thinking, well, he's Eastern European, and he looks that way. But there's something else there. Bidding detective, a word pops in your mind. More. Something from the old world. He's clearly got a mixed race, but in his gait, the way he moves, there's something anachronistic, something out of date. He cocks his head to the side, like a predator eyeing you, like over his nose with both eyes. Ignoring your question and your statement. He says, "Where did you get that thing?" As he dramatically points at the scythe.
Well, I can show it to you closer if you would like. But I prefer not to have to.
From all around.
I prefer not to have to.
They are edging ever closer to you, Nord, and you, Tony. And I'm assuming Mariah is like in front of someone in the middle of you guys.
I'll pull out my dirk.
Ching. You do.
I also pull out my sidearm.
We got about 10 minutes, guys. And then I would like to bid justice, which is my demeanor, which is unsettling, and to activate counterpoint, which and say we've got about 10 minutes. So sure, we can fight now, but I don't think any one of us want to be here after 10 minutes when everything gets turned upside down. The white doe has got a plan, some ritual thing that's going on right now. And if we don't stop it, everything's going to be different.
As you say this, Nord, go ahead and throw down. Simon, with detective still active, you're hearing, what you're getting with this, so you're aware, is you're going to be getting insights into what's going on because you've been detective. It's not necessarily going to convince him of anything.
Yeah.
Unless that's what you want to do. As Nord is talking, you do see these creatures, or these humans, bottom dwellers, look around at each other quickly, very, very quickly, almost like insect-like movements. And then they look back at their leader, whose languid movements, very flowing. He is arcing an eyebrow. He's still pointing this finger at the scythe, but he's listening. White dough.
Some people call her Lady Callie.
Lady Callie. I have heard of Lady Callie.
She's some would say native, and she's mystical. She's got the power to I guess devour the dead.
Perhaps.
I mean, I just presuming here, mere mortal standing here. I know you can smell this on me, but I would say that's a bad gig for you guys. Just saying.
As you say that stuff, Simon, you see them. You can tell they're ready to pounce at this guy's command. Tony, you doing anything?
I got my gun out.
Yep, you have your gun out, loaded, safety off. I guess it's a revolver, so don't have safety.
We don't need to fight. We can go. Apparently this is a wrong turn. Maybe you could join us. I think that would be cool.
This guy, eyeing you all. You can tell, Nord, what did you get with your successes?
I got a 1 and a 3. But can I bid when plans go awry to
make that 2?
Make that 2, and then
sure.
Actually, I did. I get 1 success with the counterpoint, so I got 1 success. But I did
so 3.
Yeah, so 3.
Yep. Holker, will you roll me a D8? And Andrea, will you roll me a D10?
8.
Okay. So the threshold is 6.
Oh, nice.
The way we're rolling with this is, Nord, you're essentially doing the convincing, and at present, and Simon, you're perceiving kind of what's going on. So that's how I'm going to play this until you guys change it up.
Right. We can talk about this all night long, but 10 minutes, I promise you, your world is going to.
You hear him make this hissing sound as the rest of them.
And I will spend a breath, I guess, to go to limbo.
Yeah. As you drop breath, you feel this pat, 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 pat on your hand, Nord. You look down and see that there's blood. As Simon and maybe Tony, depends on where you're looking, Tony, you see that Nord's bleeding quite a bit out of his nose. Maybe a little out of his ear. Out of nowhere. Nord, perhaps this has happened before. You've been through a lot. Extreme stress, full situations and such. As this guy, hearing your words, Nord, Simon, you see him visibly relax his posture. The finger's still pointed, but his posture's relaxed. Everything seems to breathe out and relax just a little bit. They kind of move off away from you, just enough to where it's not immediate danger. You hear one of them say, "This is the yes, but," by the way. The main dude. "You have killed Bartholomew. We require payment." A dangerous edge to his voice. "We will take the scythe instead of one of your lives." It's a question. Action is on you guys.
What did he say? I can't hear shit.
Yeah, Tony's sitting there like, "What?" It echoes.
Is there anything else? Do you feel comfortable with that, Simon?
Well, right now, I think our lives are more important. This scythe may be able to help, but let us all pass through, and I will be the last one, and I'll turn around and hand you the scythe.
What do you bid?
I will be guarded because I know that it's because even though it's not necessarily the best idea, it's the one that'll get us past this group.
And you're doing Guardian?
Guarded.
As you bid that, there's a twisted smile that appears on this man's face. You can tell it's a good deal for him. But there's something deeper. He hates whatever you're holding. Like, that is anathema. That's what you're going to get from it. This is something that hurts them. And he wants it. So this is an excellent deal.
That might be the only thing holding him back, Simon.
Tony, this is going to be part of the yes bet of Nord. Your hearing is there. You just got the tinnitus going on. Mariah has moved over to you, and she's like pulling on your sleeve, like almost with all of her weight. She's shaking, obviously scared. One of these things is eyeballing her pretty hardcore. And as you look over, Tony, you notice its eyes are like filled with blood. Like it's been like smashed in the face or something. And you can tell it's losing its own control. The blood on Nord. Mariah's there. Tony, what do you do?
I tell Mariah to get behind me. And Tony points the gun at this guy.
So describe, like actually do it, and describe to them what they see.
You see Tony physically move Mariah behind him. Look the thrall, if you will, in the eyes, and point a gun at the thrall.
Simon, you definitely see it. Nord, you see movement. Mariah does this. You tell her, Tony. You hear the leader say, "I said stop." As Tony, you see this guy visibly shaking, losing his willpower as you look him dead in the eyes. You may throw down. This will be mind. As he says, and anyone who's listening can hear, "Bring the little one to me." The threshold for this command is 2. Stakes are, if you fail it, You were compelled to do it.
I got a 1.
Do you do anything to increase that?
Do we have our proficiencies back?
You have all that you had from last game. So you got your abilities. If they, you know how to play this game.
We haven't started a new scene.
Do what?
I just said we hadn't started a new scene.
Yeah, ninja gear, proficiencies, abilities, and breath.
I will bid violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a re-roll one of those dice.
All right, yeah, that's 2 successes now.
With Limbo, Tony, you feel yourself hearing these words, speaking them, actually. Or are you? Is it your voice? He's just staring at you. As Mariah is like pulling against you. She's like, what are you doing? As you find yourself having pulled her a little bit closer to the guy, as you kind of catch yourself. There's still this connection to this guy, though. This is the yes, but when he says, bring her to me, you're fighting the impulse, but like you kind of want to. Like what he says.
It makes sense.
Yeah, but you disagree with it. Actions on you all.
I start to move because I saw that happening. So I start to move and get in between, to try to get in between Tony and Mariah and this creature. And as I'm doing so, I'm going to be like, guys, go towards the guy. He will let us past. And once you all get past him, I will come by and let him have the scythe.
You see the leader reach out his hand, palm out. His palm actually has hair on it, like furry palms. As he reaches out and opens up the way for you. And he says in a bit of a worried voice, or strained, you should listen to your friend. And he's staring at Nord.
Yeah, I grab Tony and Mariah. I Tony by the collar and Mariah and start pulling him back towards the door.
You do. As you get past this guy, Nord, there's the smell of a grave. He's rather tall. How tall is Nord?
He's probably 6'something", 6'2". Tall dude.
Yeah, this guy's about 6'5". He's pretty tall. He's like Christopher Lee tall, right? Which I think he was really tall. Anyway. His clothes are moth-eaten. They're very, very, very nice, but they're moth-eaten and decrepit at the fringes and the edges. As you all scuttle by, he just sort of breathes or exhales, or is it a chortle?
You know, on the way out, I'm going to be like, there's a room full of guys just over here. They're all locked in, so, you know.
What do you bid? I'm
just saying. I will bid asshole. Is that a trait that I have? I will bid. It worked. It worked in the past. I will bid my period of life, which is hardened.
And you bid that.
No, I'll bid a flaw, which is bleak.
Yeah. As you bid your flaw, bleakly saying this, lightning fast, his hand grabs your shoulder. And with the strength of 20 men, pulls you to him. You may throw down to resist this.
I will do my best. Is that
The Grace or Brawn?
Grace or Brawn?
Tony, it's literally a blur. You hear Mariah go, "Oh!"
I'm assuming my back's
Simon,
to it because I'm watching the other vampire.
Yeah, you've turned your back. You hear something happened, like a something happened, but it was incredibly fast. You can look, of course.
I will try and quick glance without taking my eyes off the one who's
to try to do that.
Advancing.
Nord.
Oh, what did I get? Well, can I use that free? Give me a in-tunnel proficiency to reroll a die, or does that not count for this?
Sure.
All right. Okay, so that's 4.
As he grabs your shoulder and pulls you to him, but at the last moment, you're able to just wriggle free as you're lifted up off the ground and deposited in front of him. There's some scratches on your shoulder and the shirt's ripped. As he's looking at you, looking down at you in this iconic arch, like a cat or like a jaguar or something, baring his teeth, which of course are sharp. Where are they?
They're just around the corner. They're locked in. It's the other door.
As he looks, and he says in a somehow foul-sounding language. Perhaps it's actually you can bid or throw down to know it since you know so many languages. And Tony, you could as well.
I'll bid
since you're right there.
I'll bid my child of the world. Throw down.
Tony, you gonna bid or throw down?
Again, does Tony hear any of this?
Yeah, you have a little tinnitus, but you're right there. You can hear it.
All right.
He's also calling it out. So technically, Simon, you can hear too.
That's 3 successes.
You will know it.
Simon doesn't know foreign languages.
Yeah, it's a foreign language. It sounds like kind of a weird European language, maybe.
3 successes with a 10.
So that gives you flair. You get to recover a proficiency or a trait.
Yeah, forgot.
Tony, it's a dead language, you know. At first, maybe you're like, is that Latin? It's not Latin. Something close to Latin. But there's like, it has that feel of language, but there's something to it that's not Latin. It's very old. At least a couple thousand years old.
A couple thousand years old?
A couple thousand years old.
Well. Yeah.
Nord, you actually do identify it. It is the language they spoke in Carthage.
Ooh.
So, when did Carthage get sacked? Was it 400 BC? Or was it early?
I thought it was a little later. I mean, the final sacking and incorporation into the Roman Empire.
151 BC.
151? Okay, so Rome.
Or 146.
Oh, I'm conflating. When the movie 300 was supposed to take place, was that 400?
Yeah. I'm not sure. The Punic Wars, the siege of Carthage is 151 BC. Carthage raised a large army.
was Hannibal, right?
It is.
Or was Hannibal dead? I can't remember.
A good.
Anyway, we can get to it. Nord, it's cool for you to look up because this is literally the information you would have.
Okay.
Yeah, you can hear it is Carthaginian. I don't actually know what language they spoke in.
Punic.
Cuneiform.
Oh yeah, I do speak cuneiform.
This dead language, and he says, "Go now." As the other three race by you, Simon. It smells like an old fart as they move past. The one doesn't. You can see him flexing his fingers. His knees are trembling. His eyes, it's like they're filled with blood and are actually kind of like dripping down. And he's staring down like at your crotch, it looks like, but you realize it's where Mariah was standing. Go now, he says, the leader, to this guy. And the guy sort of shakily looks up at him. And Simon, this will be your detective still active. This guy's going to lose it.
Okay. I'm going to start, like, as they're moving past, I'm still holding the scythe, like, up, like, ready for when this guy comes at me, because I know he's going to. But I'm going to try to I'm going to move back as quick as possible without running and backwards. So that way I can try and get onto the other side of the boss so the boss can restrain him. If he does. But try to do that before he... I will spend cunning.
I think I'll spend cunning.
Mariah's with you, Tony. Leah, we are going to get to you soon.
Nostalgic says 147 BCE was the fall of Carthage.
So the war just took a while.
Yeah.
Hey, Nostalgic, when did Hannibal get killed? Right. So, if you spent cunning, action's on you.
No, I am going to, because I got pulled in. Is that correct?
So the leader, I wish you guys knew his name. The leader was 50 feet away from you guys in the continuation of the tunnel. Tony, Mariah, and Nord, you guys are all over there. Simon is about 60 feet away, back where you came from.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to just...
The other creatures ran down and they're gone.
Yeah. I'm going to pull Tony and Mariah close to me as possible and see if we can pull them out the door, out of this room.
Yeah, as you go down the sewer, you see at the end of the sewer is another door, barreled ceiling. It's another 50 some odd feet away. Littered here and there is just general detritus that's been washed up, little bits and pieces of, what would ever go off the storm drain. You might be able to find something of worth down here, but you'd be sifting through drainage. If you want with that bid, what did you bid? You didn't bid. You dropped cunning. If you bid, you can get to the door and perhaps open it. Otherwise, you'll be moving with the cunning, and you'll be
I'll
far enough away.
Out to try to pull them along. I'll take the blood off of my nose and I'll throw it down. I mean, I know he can see me, but I don't know. He's in a frenzy. Maybe he'll smell that blood. I'll take my.
We'll give that. Go on.
I'll take my coat and I'll quickly pull it off with blood on it, and I'll just wad it up and throw it the other way.
So that will be considered an aid. So what do you bid to do it?
Fake out.
And what aspect die do you give Simon?
I'll give him, I guess, my race, which is a D8.
Yep. So Simon, if you throw down, which you're likely going to, you will get an extra D8.
Nostalgic said 138 BC was when Hannibal committed suicide.
So he did commit suicide. Nord pulls you, Tony, and Mariah follows him like a little train as you guys get down almost to the door. It's a very similar door as before. Barreled ceiling, large wooden door, just like you saw. Nord, it's likely trapped. Simon, you bid cunning. What are you doing? As Nord flings this jacket, you do notice the creature turn his attention to the jacket. He's still paying attention to you, but he is distracted.
I'm backing away like you would do a wild animal, and I'm going to say to the boss, I'm like, if he attacks me, I'm going to defend myself.
Do not slay him. He warns you as you're moving towards the boss.
Yes, because I'm backing towards him, keeping my eyes on him.
Your life is worth far less than his. As he's taking a couple steps forward, slowly towards him. Do you do anything else? Because you dropped cunning. You have moved. Remember you did.
I will. Well, I'll bid resilient to move faster.
You move slowly and steadily, almost like a Tai Chi master, but slow, I should say, calculated movements, but you're able to almost slide back, totally balanced, quickly as you pass the leader, and you're almost to the mouth of this tunnel, about 50 some odd feet away from the rest of the group, as this creature springs with blinding speed. As you blink, just for a moment, your eyes are like, maybe you force yourself to not blink. Your eyes are like watering up. You see him blip, and he's over top Nord's jacket. The jacket's in his mouth. As he flings it, his head back and forth like a dog, it's ripped to shreds. And within the same blink, he's lunging through the air at you 50 feet. You can throw it down.
Okay.
Just be Grace or Braun. Or Mind, depending on what you want to do.
10 and okay.
Now, as you throw down, what is the action you're attempting to take?
I'm going to
whatever aspect you want. It's just, what are you trying to do here? He is attacking.
I'm doing Grace. I would be trying to, like, hit him, but not vitally. Like, go for an arm or a leg, so that way it's enough to cause some pain to make him stop.
So it's a cold shot. Throw down your mishap die first. So this would be D6.
Okay.
So as it's a cold shot, it has a chaos die.
Okay. That's not a 1.
And go ahead and throw down.
It's
Leah, would you roll me a D10? And Tony, would you roll me a D8?
5.
Two.
Threshold is 3. Your fellow players were nice to you.
No, I mean, I rolled a 2. Not 2 successes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's kind. Leah, be prepared. Be prepared for what's coming at you.
okay. Let's see here.
I was pointing him to the orgy room, by the way. Just
I know.
it's really going to be an orgy in there now.
I've only got 3 successes, so it's limbo, and
So it's limbo.
Yep.
Remember, you have your D8 from Nord.
I know, I did.
Yep. This guy leaps forward. You slash him in the arm. He howls, spinning in the air. The leader grapples this guy. You hear bones crunch as he squeals in pain. And as you have attacked, so this is the yes, you succeed. Go ahead and roll damage. As you have attacked this fellow, Bartholomew, with this dreaded scythe.
3 damage.
And then roll another d6.
That's 2 on the die.
Yep. I told you, as the leader whips his hand back like a bitch slap and tries to catch you. Go ahead and throw down again. This would be Dex or Grace. Or you can attempt to attack the leader.
Well, as I'm trying to dodge,
Yep.
I am gonna say it was I was not trying to kill him.
Here's the hand lethal.
Yeah, it's not lethal. Sorry, what did you say again?
It depends what you're trying to do. If you're trying to dodge, Grace, you're trying to block it, Brown. Leo, would you throw me down a d10? Nord, would you throw me down a d8?
That one was a 9.
1 success.
So threshold of 6.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. Yeah, I got no successes. So that's a. Yeah.
You put
No
stank on it?
successes. Huh.
You put your
I
stank
can't
on
do
it?
any.
Remember, you have the aid from Nord, the D8. It lasts for your for the round.
Okay. Well, that would only give me 2 successes.
2 less damage.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to spend breath to get to limbo.
All right. What aspect were you using, Grace or Braum?
I was using Grace.
As you get hit with a Mack truck, but you're able to have perhaps the scythe up. As he swings wildly at you, there's a moment where he flinches and doesn't want to touch it, but he catches your chest. The creature in his arms is consumed with Nord's jacket, like sucking on the blood, distracted. As he hits you in the chest, you take half the damage, since it's limbo. Hey, Leah. Will you throw down a d10? Boss fight. Nice. As clack. That's 1 on the die. Yeah. Clack. Simon, you described this. You take 1 damage.
Hey. So as he's swinging back on me, like I've got the scythe in one hand, and I just kind of throw my coat up with the other because I bid my coat to to fail miserably still, and
like Jet Li style.
Yeah, and so it's like he hits the coat underneath and grazes me, because I guess in the mix of him not wanting to hit this and still trying to hit me, saw the thing, so he didn't hit me square in the chest. He just grazed me.
as you don't even move back from the blow. He swings wildly. That happens as he spins around, huddling, like cradling this guy who's just manic, like a wild animal. He looks up at you. He clearly cares, detective still active, about this Bartholomew. As he says, "Go. Leave the scythe." Now, I'll give you this. Detective is still up for this.
Mhm.
You are aware this guy has his hands literally full. And he's not going to let this guy go. He's not going to let Bartholomew go. Because Bartholomew has lost his shit. You could get away without leaving the scythe. But there you go. So I'm going to let you think about that. Leah, we're going to go there. You have just sent Mariah with Tony down to meet Nord and Simon. The room, the office is filled with the humidity of newly spilt blood. Maybe you find... What are your derangements? And how many ticks do you have in them?
My only derangement that I've taken is ticks, and I have 4.
Okay. You've seen... Well, actually, I'll just say it. I'm trying to get away from just references. You find your hand... This is a reference to something. If you know it, then you get a pip. You find your hand holding the gun, shaking. As you look down, Leah, you're just exiting the office. You see them leave through the mirrored door. You're closing the door behind you. You look down and see your hand literally just shaking, like you have like Parkinson's or something. As you don't really even feel it. Like as you don't feel the muscles moving, you're not moving it. Your hand is actually shaking.
Yeah, just personally, I imagined Leah's ticks probably ending up being more of like a tapping, like a persistent tapping on something.
Yeah. Leah would. And in fact, she does that too. It's like chopstick.
Leah will, with her other hand, will grab, her hand and the gun and just sort of, shake her head a bit.
It stops when you grab your hand. You have control. Maybe I don't know if this has ever happened, like when you have a muscle twitch and you're like, what the fuck? And it fades. But there for a moment, like, there was like this weird bodily... Leah knows what this is. She's seen this happen. This is the kind of stress that is on your body that's disconnected from your mind. Your mind is disconnected from whatever's happening in your body. This is ticks 4. So, little mechanics. As you go up derangements, as you get those checkboxes, there's points where you start losing control. When you get to 5, it gets really bad. And 6, you almost are unplayable as a character. You have to switch derangements. So it's a way of going insane. If you get to 6 ticks, like, you're not insane, but you can almost, like, the player loses control of it. So you have to switch. So at this point, if you lose another sanity, or if you gain a derangement, you can go to 5, but understand that you're going to start losing control. So you want to move the derangement.
Yeah.
In that way, when people in this game go crazy, they go really, really, really crazy. Right, so Leah has ticks 4. You might even find yourself murmuring as you stop your hand. maybe even singing a little tune, really quietly to yourself. You're in the hallway now, in the back. The music is loud. There's applause at the same time. It's this discordance. The jazz is really, really loud, almost violent. The way the bass is going, this like vroom, vroom, vroom. And people are applauding in the middle of the set. Beyond that, still, clinically still in this back room, the fluorescent lights are on. Weirdness. You still have a stock room off to the right. You've got a couple closets. Looks like there's maybe a room at the end of the hallway that you guys haven't gone into. And then there's the kitchen and then out back. You are in your dress. What do you do? Actions on you.
So I feel like this might be actually be a fun character development moment. Leah having
in the face.
No, Leah will after seeing her body basically viscerally react to all the things that have happened over the last few days, she'll actually take a second to take stock and look around at what she's actually done, because she recognizes that she has not actually given it much thought what she's been doing the last few days. She came to this country to get away from all this, and how easily she has sort of fallen back into her old ways of just, killing people without really thinking much about it. And she'll sort of sit there looking at, presumably probably some splatters of blood on her dress, and obviously the blood on the ground and the bodies. And she'll almost start panicking internally, just sort of thinking about what all she's actually done, like really.
Make a sanity roll. We'll say that the office door is actually open, so you're halfway in the office and halfway in the hallway. So the sanity roll on this is going to be threshold 4, which is how many ticks you have in how many boxes you have in your ticks derangement. Here are the stakes, though. If you can pass it, you will recover one of those boxes. As in this moment of Leah actually dealing with her demons and regaining some connection and control, she'll actually heal a derangement. But you gotta beat 4. Limbo will mean that you don't take any derangements and you don't take any flaws.
I will spend a expression proficiency to see if I can bump this up a little bit. I'm not sure if I can even actually.
That is
we'll see.
Likely the case. 4 is really high. Remember, you have ninja gear. And remember, if you do something truly zany, you get a chaos die too.
I just maxed out both dice, but it's still only 4.
Yeah, so that's limbo. So now what you need to do is, do you have any abilities that can add, or do you have ninja gear?
Oh, the only thing I have is Master at Arms. Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, I did get the one trait, I guess, on the 38 revolver, the one I've been using the rune rounds on it, called Soul Bond. I guess I could bid that to see.
You just have to make it make sense. You got to get creative with it.
And that's probably the pistol that Leah's been mostly using, even if she's not using necessarily the rune rounds.
So go ahead and throw that down, and we'll see what the result is.
Okay, so what would I throw down for that?
How many traits does the gun have on it?
Just the one.
So it'd be a D6.
Okay.
What kind of gun is it?
38 revolver. So that was a 6, so that's
yeah. So you're at 5.
A 1, yeah, 5.
All right. So describe you getting to limbo, realizing what's going on. How does that rune round gun tip you into success? Describe that scene.
So Leah, Leah will have a flashback to her first ever assassination, like the aftermath. Sitting in the debriefing room, cleaning her gun after she got done with her first job, and her mentor comes in, seeing that she's a bit disturbed by what, having killed her first, person in a personal manner. And he'll, sit down next to her and put his hand on her shoulder and say, if you let it get to you, that fire inside you will burn your soul. It'll destroy you. You have to learn to ignore it, to let it go, to pretend, to not let that fire burn you. And if you
go on.
Oh no, you have to learn to ignore it, to put it somewhere else. Don't let it touch your soul, because you'll be consumed, and you'll never be able to live as a normal human being again.
As you remember this, maybe you're in between the door. You're in the door jam. The door's open. Your foot's holding it open. Left side of the body, hearing the music in the hallway, the fluorescent light in this sterile, weird hallway. It's quiet in that regard. The body room that you have just left, and maybe even not hard target. What's that? I keep on doing references, Ken. I'm just going to keep on doing references. Like femme fatale moment. La femme Nikita is what I'm thinking of. Where you kind of like pop down into a squat, back up against the door jamb, with the gun up against the forehead or something. The cool feeling of the gun. And you're remembering this. And Leah, you learn something. Now, what you learn is for you to decide. You're going to gain a trait. It's not a flaw, it's a trait. But it needs to be something along these lines. Your mentor was wrong. He was halfway right, or she. They were halfway right. You can't let it burn you. But their advice was, ignore it. Put it somewhere else. But the thing is, you have a daughter. And that was the scene. She saw what happened. And you realized, whatever you want to there. Ignoring it isn't going to work. Because you can't go insane. If you do, Mariah isn't worth it. So however Leah forms that, take time with it, do what you want, but you have a free trait now. You can make whatever you want. You can wait to decide what it is, but you got that. You will recover, you will heal one derangement. So you can get 3 instead of 4. As maybe cold sweats, like a fever just broke, whatever the realization is or is coming to, maybe you've moved past your mentor at this point into a greater wisdom. The action is on you. What are you doing?
Yeah, we'll sort of, now that you said she's sort of crouching, she'll turn the revolver over in her hand for a second. And particularly after seeing her daughter lunge on that waiter, with the knife, she'll look at her hand and the gun and say, no, I won't let it burn me either, but I definitely won't let it burn her. And she'll tightly grip the pistol and push herself back up. And she'll have this sort of shift in feeling it's not a lack of resolve. It's a different kind of resolve. It's not a disassociative. It's not
It's
the
like a
same kind of
shift.
disassociative. Yeah, it's not the same kind of disassociative apathy that she's had towards the the killing that she's been doing over, and it's not that she doesn't still feel that she needs to protect her daughter. It's that she doesn't just want to be a killer anymore. She
As
doesn't
all
want,
this is doing,
yeah.
developing, and this will take a little bit of time. You happen to look up and see the clock in this room. It says 11:55. Down in the sewer. Simon, you move back. What do you do with the scythe?
Oh, I'm still holding on to it till we get to the other side of the door. Nord, remember that these are probably booby trapped down here.
I remember.
So be careful when you open it.
I'll tell Tony and Mariah to stand back. And
Wait.
Nord will
Lock the door as Mariah kind of moves forward.
Nope. Tony, grab Mariah really quick and get her away from the immediate opening of the door, please. And once everybody's pretty far away from the door, Nord's going to run by the door and just yank on the doorknob as hard as he can and pull it out and like move away from the door.
Where you bid?
I will bid. I guess it worked in the past.
All right, go ahead and throw it down. It's a pretty high one. This is you're doing the good. You're doing the Lord's work.
Yeah. So I'm gonna like pull the door open and like dive off to the side.
Yeah.
With some
threshold is 4.
Nice. All right. Well, there we go. To activate quick and dirty, I guess, because that's my thing.
Simon, you notice as Nord does this, you realize what he's doing. There's probably I don't know what Simon feels, but whatever the feeling is that's visceral, he feels. And right at the last second, Simon, it's going to set off the trap. You look up and see the trap that Nord is now setting off. The guess you might have is that it's not the same as the 2 previous. As you look up and see, the ceiling will give way on whoever's in front of the door, and you just see like these, like a net and a bunch of boulders that are going to crush Nord if he fails this threshold. What'd you get, Nord?
Dome. Holy crap! I got a 10 on one of them, and so I got 4 successes. No, wait. Yeah, 4 successes.
This one's different. And on that note, Vamp redeemed Hydrate. So.
Oh yeah, I need to get some. All right, thank you, Vamp.
No, this one's different.
Do you just say that casually as he swings it?
Well,
open?
I'm gonna bid connections, and I will give him wits, which is a D8.
Nice. In order to get a D8 extra die.
Oh, nice.
Tony, you doing anything? You're seeing all this. You're holding on to Mariah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Nord.
So I will, before I figure out which ninja gear I can actually use, I will implore everyone watching to like and subscribe.
Implore away.
To implore.
I will get a baton out.
As you whip out a baton. Nord, what'd you get?
I got the movement proficiency that I'm going to use to reroll.
Oh, I did, yeah.
I got an additional, so that's 5 successes.
As Nord, you get a choice. Do you go through the door or do you jump off to the side?
I was probably going to jump off the side.
All right. As you leap off to the side, Simon saying what he does, Nord, you look up, you see the rocks falling. As you leap off, dust, as all these boulders fall down, could have easily killed you, definitely would have hurt you really bad. As they don't block the door, but you guys have to belly crawl over them to get through the doorway.
Simon, you should be activating the doors. You're Mariah. It's not a me thing.
I could have done it. Who opens a door like that anyway?
All the doors are dangerous. I've been classically conditioned to do this, Mariah.
Mariah looks up at you, Tony. He's dangerous.
That's probably true.
Yeah. You're not going anywhere. This is the least dangerous of all of them, and it is pretty dangerous.
She huffs.
You get the next one, Simon.
Go on through.
Sounds good. I think we should get out of here.
So you belly crawl through. Tony, do you go as well?
Yes.
Mariah easily jumps in after Tony, or after Nord, then Tony. Simon, you're there alone. You see 50, 60 feet away. The leader has calmed Bartholomew. He's still holding on to him. Like he had a grand mal seizure or something. As he slowly looks up at you. This is a moment of decision. What do you do?
My word's my word. And I'll start to backwards belly crawl kind of through the thing. And as I do, I will leave the scythe there.
The last thing you hear and see last thing you hear and see, Simon. His eyes flash red and then dim. Well met, Simon. My name is Corthon LaBranche. Corthon LaBranche. Your word is true. You will have a friend if you need one. And then you hear what's going on? Oh my God! Ah! And the screaming of cattle being slaughtered and sheep. Ripping and tearing of flesh. A horrible sound coming from deep down the hallway, whence you came. As maybe something sour within you stirs, maybe in the pit of your stomach. The horrors you can only imagine. Sanity. Threshold is 2.
And now sanity is wits or mind?
Mind.
Mind, yeah.
It technically can be other things, but it is normally mind. Those pictures are so cool.
Well, I got 2, so I'm at limbo.
You're at limbo. What is one of your flaws dealing with the situation?
I would probably say Night Terror or Reach 4, but my flask is empty right now.
We'll say Night Terror. As you realize Something horrible is happening. Something horrible is about to happen. You feel yourself start sweating. Almost uncontrollable thoughts of what did they mean? What happens at midnight? The 2x2 hands of blue guys. What is going to happen? As you feel yourself almost panic a little bit, but you're able to calm yourself. Just this buzz in the brain. The shadows are dangerous. There are things down here in the deep places. And where you're going, there's a sinking feeling. Let's take a break. We'll take a 5-minute. When we start back up, I'm going to jump on to Leah's scene, figure out what's going on there. You guys are 5 minutes to midnight. It's about to be on.
Yeah, us and the Doomsday Clock.
That's right.
Actually, I think it's shorter than 5 minutes at this point. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll be back in just about 5 minutes.
Yep.
You've been listening, watching, enjoying DreadLore's The Red Writ with our cast: Bill Bunkum, Andrea Elliott-Johnson, Daniel Hulker, Drizzle, and Ken Howl. And a lovely special thanks to the score that you're probably listening to a little bit very faintly in the background right now by all lowercase letters.
Soupy Jones said that they loved the ambient music. So,
well, thank you. That is very sweet. Please consider joining our Patreon, DreadLore's Patreon. We really can't do this stuff, progress any further, or do any other things than we're doing right now without the support and love from Tim Roberts, Daniel Hulker, and Nostalgic. Remember, these people pay us to do this, and anybody else watching this gets to see it for free. So thanks, Tim, Daniel, Nostalgic. Couchfire Media brings some art and media, and Trois Reblay Productions is the designer of the game DreadLore, and the reason that we have the Red Writ. We'll be back in about 5 minutes, so please hang out.